Hey, it's Mila. Welcome back to my channel.
I go around and I go around and I go around, I go around. I'm always out, I am always out, I am always out, I'm always out. I keep running so I don't have to go.
Hello. So I wanted to do this video today. I feel like it's like very unlike what I've done before. I was just like thinking, it just felt right, it just felt like it was a time I was actually considering waiting maybe till like I don't know, 2026, but I feel like, I don't know, I had a conversation with a friend last night and I was like, this just feels right. So if you're new here, my name is Mila. I make everything from lifestyle, bookish, post-grad, content, just like fun vibes, right? Fun little vibes. Today, again, this is something that I haven't really done, but I'll see how this goes, what you guys think, and we'll see if, I don't know, I get a little bit more chit chatty or if I just like make more episodes to my postgrad diaries and talk about this over there. I don't know. We will see. That's a TBD. So if you like my face and you end up enjoying today's video, really don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button down below so you're updated every single time I post. I guess let's just like go right into it. So as the title mentions today, I want to talk about things that I learned about dating from not having dated at all. So, okay, not at all, but like not having dated much. So let me explain. I'm gonna make like a full like postgrad diaries episode on it like later this year. I'm more of like a late bloomer. I didn't really like prioritize it. I was like more focused on me, focused on my friends. I just like never went out to look for it. I was never someone who was on dating apps. It kind of like lessened my chances of meeting people, or it's like really like, it really lowered them. And then when I was out, I was like mainly prioritizing, okay, like, I'm spending time with my friends because I'm out with my friends. And most of my friends, pretty much like all throughout my life, have been in relationships. So every time we went out, that wasn't even like relatively like close in my head, if that makes sense. Didn't really happen. Like, obviously, I do have a little bit of experience, but I feel like I learned so much from all of my friends, like seeing my friends go through their ups, through their downs, even acquaintances, just like people around me, people who I've surrounded myself with, like overhearing conversations from like friend to friend, obviously I'm not gonna like mention anyone I like learned this from. It's just like things that I've picked up over the years pretty much since I was like 18. So yikes, it's like 5+ years of just like things that I've learned. So I figured, you know what, I'll share them with you today because like sometimes we know something but we just have to like hear someone say it to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like I kind of knew this but I didn't like it wasn't like it was like back in my head, it wasn't like forefront of my mind. So hopefully you guys can learn something from this video. This video can bring you guys clarity, make you feel a little bit better. And if you're like me, you can be like, okay, yeah, like obviously I do not have like that much experience. I kind of like maybe might feel behind compared to other people, but I've still learned so much. Like I still have experience because of like everything that I learned through other people's experience, and I didn't like have to hurt myself to like learn it. Yeah, let's go like right into it. I have a list on my iPad of everything, and the first thing that I learned was that most people date for validation, not for connection. This is really where dating apps come in. I'm not saying you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna date for marriage and stuff like that, like I'm dating like super seriously. No, but it's like they date because they want someone around and not necessarily because the person is like a good person and they have a connection. Like, yeah, physical chemistry is like a big thing, but I feel like that's much more prioritized than like a valid emotional connection. And I've just like seen that around. And yeah, sure, it might be fun, but does that last? No. And I've always heard people who like enter things like that where it's mainly for like validation. They always end up complaining after it. It's like, well, girl, like obviously I wasn't gonna tell you like straight to your face, hey, I think you're entering this for validation more than like connection with this other person. But you always end up getting hurt in the end, or you end up hurting someone else, which it's kind of like a shitty thing to do. So the one thing that I really picked up is that people, I don't want to say don't date for the right reasons because they're malicious or something like that, but people like maybe they don't even realize what they're looking for in someone. And again, like once again, hearing this, I hope that it might like open a door for you if you're someone like this and be like, oh my god, wait, like that's actually what I do. Like I'm not saying that if you realize this is what it is, like you immediately like end things with a person who you're saying no, but it's just like open your eyes, be like, oh, okay, like am I actually with this person for validation, or is it actually the connection? I've been someone who was always like, you know what, I can validate myself, I get validated from my friends, I don't need some like random guy, you know, to validate me. Again, I learned this like really young from like seeing people, and it's just been something that's been in the back of my head. And I'm sure like people talk about it online also. Validation is one thing, connection is another. And you can get, you know, validation from other people, that you don't have to be reliant on a guy to give you, or if you're a guy, on a girl to give you this validation. The second thing I learned is that being single isn't lonely, but being with the wrong person is. I have seen my friends who were in these relationships with people, you could see how lonely they felt. Your partner shouldn't be the one who is like isolating you, making you feel like lonely, making you feel like you're not heard. Like, that is so sad. Like, that's not what a partner is for. And every time that I see that, I'm like, yeah, you know, some part of me might be a little bit envious that like I don't have a partner. No matter how alone I feel, I'm like, at least I do not have someone who's supposed to like love me, supposed to care for me, who makes me feel like alone and singled out. My heart was breaking for one of my friends who you could tell her ex always like making her feel so alone in the relationship. And you know, it's sad. It's like, you deserve so much better. Like, oh, like, poor you, you know? It's sad. Like, I'm sure it really, I mean, obviously I haven't been in it. Like, I'm sure it really hurts. But looking at it, it's like, yeah, you know, like, I have felt alone at times. I felt like I'm gonna die alone. No one's ever gonna love me. Like, you know, obviously my brain like goes to those places. I know that having seen this, having learned this, I will not stick around with someone who makes me feel shitty. You know, it's like, yeah, like, I felt alone before. I don't need someone else to make me feel alone. Like, I'd much rather isolate myself because I'm like not having a good day than like have you, like someone who I have such strong emotional ties to, make me feel alone, because that is gonna hurt more than anything. Yeah, you know, like, maybe I feel like I've built up like really big walls from that, but that is one of the saddest things ever. And truly, my heart breaks for everyone who's in it. If you take something out of this point, it's that if your partner makes you feel alone, not for you. The third thing is that you don't have to be in a relationship to experience emotional intimacy. So this kind of like ties in like the past two things. It's like, you don't need a partner to experience things, because like you have your friends. I know guys is something completely different, because like relationships with like girlfriends versus like guys with their guy friends, it's very different. Us girls, like, we have such strong connections with our friends, and it's like, yeah, sure, you know, like, maybe I don't have much experience with like emotional intimacy with a guy, but I have that from my friends. And you know, like, yeah, someone might say, oh, you know, like, you don't have experience, you don't know how to regulate your emotions, you don't know how you're gonna act in situations because you've never had a boyfriend. And it's like, I've had like a lot of people tell me that I'm so emotionally intelligent, I'm so self-aware, and it's like, when I meet people, I can like go deep fast. Like, I know emotional intimacy. I'm not like too much too fast, I'm not like too slow to open up. Like, I know the perfect pacing because I still experience that with my friends. So yeah, I might not have experience in that sense, but I have it everywhere else in my life. I'm not missing out. And like, same thing for you, you know, if you don't have like that much experience with guys, you still get this from your friends, and it's truly a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, like, you know, this guy who loves you, like, anything can happen to him, you know, like, something can happen the next day and like he doesn't love you anymore, he leaves, or it's like, worst case scenario, like something happens and he's like no longer with you because of like, you know, he's like no longer here. But you'll always have your friends, you know. And like, something I remember hearing this at like some point, your friends are always going to be there with you, right? Because your friends truly care about you. And I'm not saying that relationships are like conditional love, but it's so much more common that a relationship ends versus a friendship that ends. Or at least like from my experience, you do not need a guy to get this experience with emotional intimacy, because you can get it everywhere else in your life. And just because you don't have it with a guy does not mean that you're behind. Number 4, the bar is not too low. People just keep rewarding breadcrumbs. Obviously, everyone now is like saying like, you know, this is like the bare minimum, and like he can't even do this, or it's like, oh my god, he did like all of these things, and like, you know, like, great, you know, that's amazing, he treats you like an actual human being. But that's literally the bare minimum. That's like how you should treat like any person who you like somewhat respect. I mean, I've definitely like fallen victim to this, where it's like, I don't know, he does something that's like, oh, kind of cute, and we like start freaking out. And it's like, yeah, you know, obviously it's cute, but it's literally the bare minimum. I'm not saying he's supposed to be like spend thousands of dollars on you, like always be there when you need him, like not have his own life, but also like he should put in some effort. I feel like there's not much effort going around, and this isn't like only in personal life, this is like online, like this is what everyone talks about online. People are not putting in effort, and like, I don't know, maybe it might be like laziness, because like breadcrumbs are rewarded, maybe it might be like the guy's uncomfortable, but But it's like, if you keep on rewarding or just like obsessing over the tiny little things, you're not gonna find someone who treats you like you want to be treated. Again, I've had to grapple with this. It's not something that you want to hear, because no one wants to think, okay, like, you know, I am doing this to myself. I'm attracting like shitty or like people who don't treat me how I want to be treated to myself. Like, it's fully my fault. Because like, no, it's not, but it's what your brain is like programmed to want based on like what you've seen like online and in person, you know? Like, again, he doesn't have to like do these huge massive things, but just like a little something nice, you know? Like taking you out to dinner or like buying you a little gift is like nice. It means a lot, but it's literally also the bare minimum. I feel like I have like relatively high standards just because like I know what I want, and you know, I have a certain like lifestyle, and it's like I don't want to like feel like I'm going down in like lifestyle because of my partner. Yeah, you know, these small things are like super cute and I love it, but it's like, if you do not do these bigger things, I mean, obviously I'm not like, don't expect it from day one, let's be so for real, like it's not gonna happen. But if there's not like a progress, then it's not gonna happen, because if it's not something that started off early on, he's not gonna go from like doing the bare minimum to like treating you like an absolute queen. Breadcrumbs, they're not effort, let's put it that way. They're not effort, it's a little lazy, and it really shows like what he thinks of you. Number 5, this I really learned from like something that my friend went through just a couple of months ago. People are not scared of commitment, they're scared of being seen. And yeah, you know, some people say, oh, you know, they're just scared of commitment, like I don't want to give all my energy to this person because they can leave, blah blah blah. Okay, but like look more deeper into it. Why are you scared? Why don't you want to invest everything into this person? Why do you not want to be like tied down to this person? Because you're scared of being truly seen. Because you think deep down, if you fully commit to this person, if this person is like, not like what your life revolves around, but this person is like such a prominent person in your life, they're gonna see the real you. You know, it might be insecurity, it might be like, I don't know what it is, but it's like, they don't want you to see the real them because they don't like the real them. I know this is like deep, and I'm sure like it definitely like calls some people out. They don't want you to see the real them because they don't like themselves. They're not confident. Like maybe they can be doing like pretty like decently in life, but they don't think that they're doing decently in life. So it makes them insecure, and it's like, I don't want to be seen because this person is going to see the real me, and I'm not ready to be my real self with them. Commitment issues can be a little like, you can like learn them from the past, but if you really go deep down, there's insecurity there. It might not always be malicious, you know, like again, someone might have hurt them in the past, so they feel like much more closed off, but it always stems down to they're not ready to be seen. Might be purely them because they were hurt in the past, might be you're just like not the right person, and like, yeah, you know, they like having you around, they have fun with you, they're not comfortable with you. And I don't want you to like leave this thinking, oh, like it's my fault, like I'm not open enough, I'm not warm enough. No, like it's not. Like maybe sometimes it might be like you haven't like shown them the comfort, show them how like warm and open you can be, but most times it's fully on them. Honestly, like it took so long to realize, but once that clicked in my brain, I'm like, oh wow, that makes so much sense. And like no one really thinks that way, but when you really look at it, you're like, they're definitely scared to be seen. Number 6, being single actually teaches you what you like and what you don't like. Like obviously when you date people, you're like, okay, I liked this, I didn't like this, and you kind of like make your list. But I feel like those lists, not that it's jaded, but it's what you see that like someone gives you. So you're making your list of like what I like, what I want based on what you've been offered, not because of what you truly want, if that makes sense. Like being single, you're like, okay, you know, my standard is this is what I want, and you're not like blindsided or like blind. No, you're not blinded. You're not blinded by what you've experienced and what you think your worth is because of what other people gave you and what other people didn't do, and like what your friends have, what your friends don't have. You're truly like, okay, this is me, this is what I want, these are my things. And you can be so much firmer on your boundaries and on your standards because once again, like you know yourself, you truly know yourself. And one of the things I'm the most happy about for having been single for so long, it's that I know myself. I know my worth. I know myself. I know exactly what I want. If you're not someone who's gonna do that, then I don't want you in my life. Like you might be the sweetest person, you might have a great like emotional connection, like I might be like insanely attracted to you, but if you don't meet that, I know it's not gonna work out because like I'm not gonna like lower my standards or like what I want just to be with you. Like obviously I'm not gonna have this like massive list or it's like, oh, you have to be like this, but it's like basic things I know myself. I'm always gonna have in the back of my head, I'm always gonna resent you. I'm like never gonna feel like fully comfortable because of this thing. And you're only gonna realize what these things are once you took time to be single. And it's like, how are you gonna learn what you truly want, who you truly are, if you don't take that time? Like, I don't want you guys to feel called out. Really like realize when you're alone, when you have no one around, that's truly when you start falling in love with yourself, discovering yourself, learning about yourself the same way that you'd learn about another person. And that's truly beautiful. And I'm not saying it can be done in a relationship, but it's harder when so much of your time and energy and effort is on this other person rather than put on yourself. Kind of going with that, number 7 is that just because you haven't been picked doesn't mean that you're undesirable. It means that you're rare. I had this conversation with one of my guy friends, like, I want to say maybe like a few months ago, and he was like, guys are intimidated by you. And I'm like, me, like, I'm literally the most like bubbly, the most like bubbly and like friendly, like social, energetic person. How am I intimidating? And he's like, no, they're intimidated by you because like they see all of these things about you, and it's scary for a guy. Like, like they don't have the confidence to come up to you and to talk. I like that honestly really surprised me, because for the longest time, I wouldn't say I thought that I was like undesirable, but I thought like, okay, people, oh my God, there was a cat in my garden and it's so cute. It's just like rolling around. Oh my God. Ugh, I want to go play with it, but I'm like, I'm filming. Okay, no. Finish your video, then we can go play with a cat if it's still there. For the longest time, I was like, something's wrong with me, even though like I knew it wasn't true, right? I was like, something's wrong. Like maybe it's just like how I'm showing myself to the world. Like I'm not open enough. I'm too closed off, or like whatever. I was like making my fault. But then having that conversation, I was like, no, like I am desirable. Like people find me attractive. People think I have these like amazing qualities. People want to get to know me. I'm just intimidating because I'm not what's common. And it was really that conversation from like a guy's point of view that I was like, I thought like presenting myself this way was like me like empowering myself, like showing people all the good things about me. And he's like, yeah, you like, people do see all these things about you, and that makes you scary to approach because you seem all the way up here and people don't see themselves at the same level as you, and people don't think that they can get you. And I was like, wow, because it opened my eyes to be like, I'm not undesirable, I'm just rare. I'm not telling you guys this story to be like, oh wow, like I'm like bragging, like I'm so desirable, I'm like better than everyone. Like, no, obviously not. But it's like, if you don't have a lot of romantic attention, it's not because people don't like you. It's because there's something about you that people find intimidating because they know that they're not on your level. And yeah, like sometimes it was like hard seeing people approach my friends and like not me. But I was like, you know what? People just see me for who I am, see me how I see myself. And they're like, I cannot match that. So I'm not even gonna try. Just think of that at times. Like when you're not getting approached, be like, I'm rare, and people know that they cannot, like, they're not as rare as me, so they're not gonna approach me, not because I'm not desirable, but because I'm like all the way up there. And like it kind of boosts your ego a little bit. Number eight, I feel like it's gonna be a slap to the face to some people. He's not giving you mixed signals, you're just trying to decode a no. This is a hard one to hear. I mean, obviously I've like experienced my little like fair share of mixed signals, and I was always like, okay, but like this means that he likes me, but then there is this, so like I don't know, but then there's this, and like he obviously likes me, right? When you have mixed signals, it could be games, and that's honestly so dumb, stupid, and like whatever, because like if you like someone, like don't play around, like don't be 50 and like be so for real. But when you truly cannot tell, when there's a hot and cold, when you do not know like where you stand, or like you cannot like confidently say, yeah, this person does like me, you're trying to read into a no. It's so much more common that someone will be like hot and cold, or not be like super truthful, like hide certain things and like come back when they're bored and like leave when they're like entertained, they have like someone else to talk to, because they do not want to do the hard thing by telling you, hey, honestly, it's a no for me, I'm not interested. So I'm not saying every single time you have mixed signals it is a no, because like, yeah, sure, someone might like truly actually be busy, there might be like an emergency, they might just have like a specific schedule, but that's the exception. My big thing that I'm taking everywhere in my life is like, never consider yourself the exception. Whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing, like you being part of the exception, you're not the exception. Like if you have fear of like flying, yeah, sure, plane crashes happen, but you're not the exception. Your plane is like not gonna crash. On the other hand, I don't know, it's your first time buying a lottery ticket. Like, you might be the exception who like gets your like wins the first time that you buy. Yeah, sure, that could happen, but you're not the exception. You know, that's how I like to go about life. And I feel like that is a really like reassuring mentality. Just like consider yourself as the general whole. And if you're getting mixed signals, 99.9% of the chance it's to know that a non-confident guy is giving you. Like, if he was truly confident, he was truly like a good person, he would just say, hey, no, I'm sorry, you're an amazing person, I'm just not interested. They wouldn't string you along. So think of this next time that you're talking to someone that you cannot read. You can ask them like, hey, be perfectly honest with me. Do you still want to see me, or like, you know what's going on? But if you don't have a hard conversation, which like fair, just take it as a no, move on, and you're gonna meet someone so much better. Number 9. Okay, number 9 might also hurt a few people. People fall in love with potential and get hurt by reality. Yeah, take that in for a minute. I don't know how it is for guys, but like girls, you know, we make scenarios in our head. We like fantasize about things. When there's like one good quality about someone, we just like imagine that there's all this like all these amazing things. They're such an amazing person. They're so kind, generous. They're just like the best person on earth. But then when you actually get to know them, you're like, oh, this is not how I pictured you in my head. I'm not saying I haven't done this. Like I've done this before. This is something that I'm like truly guilty of. I realize that in myself. Like, I'm a Pisces moon. Obviously, I fantasize about things and I'm like, oh my god, you know, imagine us doing this and then this and then this and all the pictures we can take. And then reality hits and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm not saying like don't have fun like fantasizing, imagining like cute things that you guys can do and like just like fun little things in your head. Like obviously that isn't unhealthy, but it's like be realistic. Like know when you're more into the potential of the person and you're like projecting things on them. Like be aware when your feelings are tied to a fantasy. You know, like obviously we fantasize about people who we like, but it's like do not create feelings within your fantasy. Have your feelings for the actual person. Yeah, your mind can go a few places like for fun, but don't get attached to those, because if that's not what happens in reality, you're gonna feel like shit. You're gonna feel like he was like playing you, he was like trying to be someone who he was not. And like, yeah, sure, he might have been, but most of the time you projected these like good qualities onto him, and then when he showed you who he truly was, you got hurt because you created a person who did not truly exist. And like, yeah, you know, it's not fun to hear, but just be aware of that. I said like next time I start seeing someone, I'm gonna be so careful to not fantasize. Like obviously I know how I am. I'm so in my head. I love like imagining, like again, Pisces moon, right? But I'm gonna be so much more stricter. Be like, hey, this is what he showed you. If you want to fantasize, if you want to dream about things, take your real life experiences. Do not imagine like cute romantic things that he hasn't done yet. That's what I'm learning from this, because I called myself out. I feel like I called out most people who I know, and like it sucks, but this is honestly one of the biggest things that I'm taking, especially if you're a more like emotional person. Be careful to not fall in love with potential. And then the last one, this one I learned through a friend of a friend of a friend. We were talking about it and I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe this is why. And then my friend was like, actually, yes, that makes so much sense. So number 10, it's easy to mistake chaos for passion when you've never known calm. If you're someone who's been in toxic relationships, you know like the warning signs, like you know the bad things, like you know these like unhealthy patterns, but that's what's normal for you. Like feelings of love and attachment and like emotional ties, it's to that chaos that the other person brings. And I'm not saying it's like easy to just forget about all of that and like go for someone who's like truly healthy, but when you get with someone who's truly healthy, the calm is going to be completely different than the chaos that you experience. Odds are you're going to be questioning, do they actually care about me? Do they actually like me? Because it doesn't feel like love. But then the only version of love and like passion and excitement that you've gotten was from a chaotically unhealthy person. I cannot tell you how to solve it. Like, I don't know how this friend of a friend of a friend solved it. Be aware of that. Like, if you've been in healthy relationships, that's easy, you know? But if you're used to chaos and if you're used to love being attached, ups and downs, you know, like you guys get into a massive fight, but then you make up and it's such a big high, but then the low is so low. Someone who is stable, healthy, truly cares about you, like no matter what is going on, they're gonna feel boring. They're not gonna feel like they love you because you're not used to something that's healthy. That's sad. That truly, honestly is sad. And I don't have a solution to fix this, but just talking about it, like healthy communication, maybe go seek help, talk with your friends, because it's truly sad when, you know, you don't give time to someone who truly loves and cares about you just because you don't see it as love when they have so much love for you. So those are 10 little things that I've learned with my like very limited dating experience, like mainly through friends and like seeing people who I know, like friends of friends and stuff like that, go through, you know, their little dating life experiences. And honestly, I used to feel so alone. I used to feel so like inexperienced, but then I'm like, no, you know, like obviously I don't have as much like one-on-one experience like with a partner, but I still learned all of these from my friends' mistakes. Yeah, I was jealous of them, but now I'm like, you know what? I'm so sorry for you that you went through this, but I'm happy it was also a learning experience for me because I know what not to do. So if you enjoyed today's video, if you learned a little something, definitely hit the subscribe button and leave a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed. If there's anything that you learned, whether from dating or not from dating, that you saw from your friends or online or whatever, don't hesitate to leave it down below so you know it helps other people out. If you want to go contact me elsewhere and like, you know, see what's going on in my more day-to-day life, my TikTok, Instagram, and Goodreads are all linked down below, so definitely go check me out over there. And yeah, that's going to be all for me today, so stay safe, protect your vibe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys!